Kenyan time, and I'm very happy to welcome you to our streams. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Welcome to the world of our own. I am your host, Raymond Mutuku, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this stream. If you want to know what is happening around the world, if you love tech news, if you like to know what is happening in the information sector, some of these sectors don't make it to the 7 p.m. news. So if you want to know what is happening around the world, if you want to know, what is happening in other places, come and join us every single evening. And here in this channel, I can assure you that we'll give you a run for your money. It is not a loss. You will enjoy every penny that you have. Any questions up to there? You saw what happened in Kenya, and I want to explain something. And for those who are watching me, welcome to these streams. I am your host, Raymond Mutuku, and welcome. I love visitors. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Make sure you did subscribe to this stream, and we are working to make sure that and sometimes in Kenya, I want to tell you something that for those who don't know, that Kenya students win. Kenya students they did win the ICT award. Kenyans win ICT award. So when it comes to ICT, we have really developed, in 2026, that story. In China, you can imagine Kenyans winning the top prize in China. That tells you a lot. That tells you that as a country, we have overdeveloped when it comes to information technology. When it comes to technology, we are the top of the top. We are the top of the top. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. Welcome to this channel, the world of our own. And I'm very happy to be here every single night, every single evening. In some countries is a night, but here in Kenya is evening, and we are live. So I want to be also live in your life. If you're new to this channel, feel free every evening. And did you subscribe? We are live in both of our channels. We are live here in World of Our Own, and we're also live in the Chariots of Fire. So join, subscribe both channels. And here in this channel, the beauty part is that we will be talking about what is happening around the world. Any questions up to there, feel free to ask me your questions in the comment section below. Any questions up to there? Any questions up to there? I really love, and today we're also talking about what happened in Japan. When Japan was playing, I want to link two stories that happened around the world. So allow me to do that. I'll first talk about the game, the World Cup game of Japan and Netherlands. When the Japanese finished the game, when they finished watching the game, they cleaned up the area. They were drinking soda, they were drinking, whatever they were drinking. They finished watching the game. They did not rush going home, no. Japanese fans, they cleaned up the stadium. You saw that. The Japanese fans, they cleaned up the stadium. Even when everybody had left, they were left behind, cleaning the stadium. In Japan, that is the culture. Once the game is over, they've watched the game, okay, they remain behind and clean the stadium. But what happens here in Kenya? We have really glorified the wrong things. Here in Kenya, we are thugs. We are thugs. In Kenya, everybody's a thug. In Kenya, everybody's a thug. In fact, if you're not a thug, there's something wrong with you. Everybody's a thug, including women. Everybody's a thug. Everybody's a thug. Even women politicians, they're thugs. Everybody in Kenya is a thug. Everybody's a goon. Any questions after that? Feel free to subscribe and comment. I'm very happy to be here. I'm your host, Raymond Mutuku, and welcome to World of Our Own, and welcome to the Chariots of Fire. And I want to talk about that for a few minutes, But you see, the Japanese, it is the culture. Once they finished their business, everybody, they never rushed home. They did not rush going home. They stayed behind and they cleaned the stadium. But what happens here in Kenya? Everybody is a thug, including pastors. Everybody is a thug. Here in Kenya, you see, you can even get robbed in a church. You saw that what happened in All Saints Cathedral. You can even get robbed in a church. I think it's about time that we needed to change. Welcome, my dear brothers and sisters in the Chariots of Fire. I am your host, Raymond Mutuku. And today we're going to talk about the things that are happening around the world. What is happening. You saw what Japanese people did after the game with the Netherlands. You saw. When the Japanese finished playing the game, everybody was busy cleaning the stadium. We will ever see that in Kenya? No. Kenyans, we glorify thuggish culture. Everybody's a thug in Kenya. Everybody's a thug. In Kenya, you can even get robbed in a church. You saw on last Sunday, in All Saints Cathedral, people getting robbed in a church. I started asking myself a question, my dear fellow Kenyans. If you're getting robbed in a church, where are you safe? If you're getting robbed in a church, with CCTV, everything, you're getting robbed. I think there's a problem in our country, and we need to address these problems before these problems start addressing us. Oh yes, you did not hear me. We need to start addressing the problems before those problems start addressing us. If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I am your favorite host, El Matador, El Pibe de Oro, Kozanoza, Raymond Mutuku. And I'm very happy to welcome you to this channel. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Any questions? Any questions up to there? So I was telling you that it's a question of culture. What culture are we promoting? What culture are we glorifying? Here in Kenya, everybody's a thug, which is affecting the way we do things. You saw what Japanese, that's why they're organized. You see, after the game, they knew the stadium is dirty. After the game, they knew the stadium is dirty. And these Europeans, this Dutch, they had already left. But the Japanese were left behind. And that is why, when it comes, that tells you how they think. That tells you their modus operandi. That is the word, modus operandi. Any questions up to them? And I wanted to talk about that before I go. Because, in Kenya, everybody's a thug. Everybody's a thug. Hata 100, 100 bob like this one. Wewe peleka pesa yangu. Hata 100. Wewe ajilete hiyo do yangu ama ndakurarua. Everybody's a thug. I just have 100 bob. Somebody wants to even break your neck because of 100. You see, that thug culture is going to affect our generations. Like, for example, in Kenya, even somebody who's educated, 100 shillings, he will grab you by the neck. Give me my money. Give me my money. Everybody's a thug in Kenya. Everybody's a thug. Just 100 shillings, somebody wants to you're playing with me. Why are you playing with me? And then you ask, what is the argument? This man has refused with my 100 shillings. Then you realize, 100 shillings is why you are shouting. Yes, that's my money. And somebody shouting. Then I realized that it's not because of lack of education. It is because everybody is a thug. Everybody is a thug. Even women, thugs. I saw a woman. Hey, in Kenya, you cannot, for example, you cannot snatch 100 shillings from a Kenyan woman. 100. You want to snatch money from a Kenyan woman. That's when you know people have, they are strong. But what happened? You see, that is the culture. And I was telling people, some of our problems, we have to address the culture. Culture. You saw boys streaming into All Saints Cathedral with no respect even of God. For even God, you people have no respect. Somebody even snatched a phone and the policeman was there. I saw that video. Snatched a phone while the policeman was there. You can imagine that kind of rooted stubbornness. Rooted, it's deep. It is enshrined. Deep, it's deep. A policeman is here. I have never seen such a thing. I only saw it. It only happens in Kenya. Go and watch that video of what happened in All Saints Cathedral. While they were leaving, the boys were leaving. There was a phone in the table. There was a phone in the table. I saw that video. There was a phone in the table. And there was a young man there. That young man snatched that phone while the policeman was there. Hi. And the policeman was the number one witness that this boy stole a phone and ran away. That kind of thing only happens in Kenya. Any questions up to there? That kind of behavior. And let me tell you why we are all guilty. We are guilty because not of commission, but we are guilty of omission. We can also be guilty by just keeping quiet. All right. That is called either it's an act of commission or an act of omission. An act of omission. All right? It's either an act of commission or an act of omission. When you see people doing bad things, like, for example, these gangs in Kenya, and I want to talk about that before I go. What you saw in All Saints Cathedral is something that is manifesting today because of our silence. What is happening is a generation, is manifesting in broad daylight. It's manifesting in broad daylight, where boys can stream into a church as if they're going to pray. Now, you see, one thing that people have realized is that now churches now are becoming, quick money. If you want, now these thugs, these gangs, have now realized, so what we need to do, these Christians, they love Jesus. So when we stream to the church, we're going to steal from them, and they will not report us, they'll just pray. That is the kind of mentality that is taking us behind. That is taking us, years behind. And as from last year, because I've been following this story. As from last year, there's been a trend where churches are being robbed. And I'm asking myself that question, my dear fellow Kenyans, that if we are robbing churches, if we are robbing women where they're coming from work, robbing women, robbing churches, what have we become? If you have to, you're waiting for women to come out of work so that you can rob them. What country? We're disintegrating, we are regressing as a people. And if you're not talking about it, and if you're silent about it, then what you're doing is you are inadvertently supporting what is happening. If you don't talk about, when you see thieves and they're stealing from women, they are raping women, and they are doing it. They are raping women when you are coming from work, and you just keep quiet. It means you are supporting it by the fact that you are what? You are silent. Your silence is supporting them. Any questions up to there? Feel free to subscribe and comment. And for those who need to know, and for those who are following Kenyan news, we'll continue. So the Kenyan government has set aside 2 billion shillings to support these victims of human rights violations from protests since 2017, including the finance bill and rest. So all those families will be compensated, and the funds will aid families of the killed, the injured, the tortured, or the sexually violated individuals, affected businesses, and even hurt law enforcement, with payouts starting next week for those 1,101 people who are affected. All right. So, but do you think the 2 billion shillings is enough for the 1,000 families? Do you think it's enough? If you think it's enough, comment, and I will appreciate your comment. Now, the story you've all been waiting for. The Zimbabwean man, the fat boy from Zimbabwe. Today, as we are finished, we are going to talk about the fat boy from Zimbabwe. It is Chivayo again. And this time round, he's here to eat our airport. Dear Kenyans, this fat boy from Zimbabwe by the name of Chivayo, we should tell our president, Mr. President, you can just look at this man. This man is too fat. He's here to eat. This man, why are you giving our airport away? At least you should have given these Indians their thing. But you are giving a fat boy from Harare. This man called Chivayo is here to steal from Kenyans. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our resources that are on the line. This fat boy from Harare by the name of Chivayo is here to steal from Kenyans. It's about time that it's either we support whatever is happening. This man from Harare, you can see, he has been given a deal of 375 billion shillings. Guys, if you people like Mandamano, you like Mandamano, right? You like Mandamano. Why don't you go to the streets and complain about this boy, this fat boy from Zimbabwe? He has been given a contract of 375 billion shillings to do what? To renovate. You want a Zimbabwean man to renovate our airport? Somebody who's very fat. I saw that one, I started laughing. In fact, Kenyans, we should go to the streets. How can a Zimbabwean man repair our airports? Isn't that the joke of the year? That is the joke of the year. And the worst part is there's no parliamentarian who's even talking about it. There's no member of parliament talking about it. That our airport is being stolen by a Zimbabwean man. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about time that we started confronting the truth. Because if we don't confront the truth will start confronting us. It's about time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching me in all of my channels, that is The World of Our Own and The Chariots of Fire, it's about time that we started confronting our problems. Or, my dear brothers and sisters, our problems will start confronting us. Any questions up to there? Feel free to ask me your questions. Join me every evening as we dissect what is happening around the world. All right? So you can imagine, my dear brothers and sisters, that this same man by the name of Chivayo, you know, he has appeared in major corruption controversies. Of all the companies in the world, why him? Why Chivayo? Why Chivayo? And here's the question nobody's answering. The Adani proposal was reportedly around 1.8 billion. That Adani proposal. Now the figure being discussed is over 2.5 billion. So Chivayo, this fat boy from Harare, will be pocketing 700 million. Any questions up to there? I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back.